Hello, comedy fans. David James is a Philly-based stand-up comedian who will be here in town in Austin at Cap City Comedy Club this weekend, performing at the Red Room. Tickets can be purchased at capcitycomedy.com. And what's up, David? Thank you so much for the time. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, man?
Well, it's a loaded question you just asked. I got fired from my day job a week ago, but I'm not saying that for any sort of sympathy. I'm saying it because, much like you and plenty of other stand-up comedians, me as a radio/podcast host, my life is the bit at times. So I set that up by asking you, have you ever been fired before? It being your doing, and if so, what was the rationale there?
Yeah, I got fired. Probably I want to say it was my third job ever after getting out of college. I got fired.
What was
Yeah,
the job?
it was a paper company. They were like it's a sales job, and I remember going there, and then they gave me like a guy to train under, and then he told the boss that he refuses to train me,
Why?
and then and so then I'm there for maybe almost a week. And then I catch the flu. And at this point, it was can we say what we want to since it's a podcast?
100%.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I got the flu, and it was one of those flus where I just like involuntarily shit myself a couple of days.
Oh, fuck.
And so I was telling them, I was like, I could come in, but I'm at 103 and I just ruined three pairs of pants, you know. And so then it came back this whole thing where they were like, "Oh, well, you're not fitting our dress code," was the next thing to come up after that. And so then I pull out the manual. I was like, "Oh, well, the pants that I'm wearing, these khaki pants, it's in the dress code. And also, three guys I just walked by wearing the same type of pants. So what else you got?" Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was like a clusterfuck from the get go. Yeah. I
Dress.
just regret not quitting like a psycho person. If I could go back, I would have quit like a psycho.
I've had one of those in my life where I read like a manifesto over the air at a previous stop, and it's something that I still hear about 20 years later. So that's definitely a fun route to go. If you ever get the chance and you are having to work another shitty office job, you should do it if nothing else, so that the end result could be that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's my biggest regrets in life is not leaving jobs like a complete psychopath and becoming a legend.
So what is it if
Yeah. 'Cause,
anybody who lives or is from Pennsylvania has to work like a Dunder Mifflin type job for a week? What was going on there?
no, that was just something that I took. I was working probation parole, and then I switched to the sales job because everybody probation parole is just like, yeah, we're poor and we're never ever going to make any money, and we're dealing with crazy people 24/7.
Yeah, you maybe try and get into it to help people, then you realize, holy shit, there's a lot of people who are just incapable of receiving that assistance.
Well, it's like it's that, and also like just the system, you know. Like they're thankfully they changed it so they would like do like specific types of probation parole for people. So if they were drug and alcohol addicts, they'd be like, drug and alcohol, like drug, they call it like drug courts or something like that. Or if you had mental health problems, they put you like mental health court, you know. But back then it was just like everybody was just like, so I would have like someone who wants to go to Washington, D.C. to go visit President Bush, you know, or you'd have somebody else who's just like, a sex offender, and then you'd have someone else who shows up to every meeting drunk because they can't stop drinking all day, otherwise they get sick. So it's like you got all these people that you have no training and specializing, trying to help them out, but they just lump them all into one caseload.
Well, it sounds like things are in a better place than if they've started to figure out how to compartmentalize it a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like they tried to call it the what they call it, the hug a thug courts, but that was just like the old school thinkers. It's like no, we're wasting our time doing it the way we are right now. So you got to do something where you're just separating these people as far as their specific needs, so you don't have to see them over and over again. Because that's all it is. They violate, they come back, violate, come back, and if they do make it off, they'll catch another charge like within a year, so they're back in again. So if you keep on doing the same things, people are going to keep on coming back to the system and staying in it.
Unfortunately, a vicious cycle. So I've had a chance to check out your some clips of your stand up over the last few days, and I love stand up, and I'm a fan of what you've got to offer. It's some personal life stuff, it's some observational humor as well. I will say this though, in researching for this interview, I didn't see a whole lot about you online. No obvious website or anything. So, what's your story here, man? How long you been in stand up, and how big a deal is it for you to get to come to Austin to perform this weekend?
I've been stand-up for about 15 years, but I didn't start taking it really seriously as far as something I could really do until like right before the pandemic. Like I made an album like a month. I want to say I made an album about 2 months before the pandemic like it really hit. And so at that point, like things were starting to move for me, you know. And then pandemic just erased everything. So
Terrible
yeah,
timing.
yeah. As far as the internet, I'm self-admittedly horrible at the internet. So it's like I put a lot of videos out recently, but it's like something I gotta make myself do, you
Right.
know. And also it's like when I see like I one thing I refuse I don't like Twitter or TikTok. I can't do either one of those.
TikTok is
Yeah.
obnoxious. Twitter is a, as my friend puts it, it's just the digital bathroom wall. But I think there's ways to use it to your advantage where you get in, get out, and don't get caught up in all the bullshit commentary.
Yeah, yeah. Where it's like for his comics, it's kind of different from as far as a creative because for me specifically, if I'm on like if I see TikTok or Twitter or something like that, and I'll see like, oh, this person has like, thousands of followers, and then I'll go do a show with them and they're horrible, or even people they might have millions of followers or like a TikTok star, and then like they'll go to a comedy club because they'll sell out, because all the TikTokers will go watch them,
Ooh.
and then they'll leave the show all angry, like this was horrible. It's like, so you thought someone that was funny for 15 seconds was going to be funny for an hour? Yeah, and all these TikTok videos you're watching, none of them are stand up. So what did you think was going to happen? This person's like twerking and dancing. You think that's going to translate to stand up? No, it doesn't.
So you essentially just said that you didn't spend the first 12 years of your stand up treating it seriously enough. Was there something that clicked for you, or did you get good enough at it to where you realized that you needed to put a little bit more focus in it? What was it that caused this shift for you?
Well, I was also still working full time in a government job. Um, and plus, I think the combination of getting sick of that, and also I got to a certain point where like people were really saying things about, I guess, my stand up.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like I should be able to do this like full time or should be able to pursue it full time. Yeah, so it's also like once you're hearing that from veteran comics, guys who are like selling out, doing clubs, they've been doing stand up for 30, 20 years, and they're telling you that, then it's like, okay, that's like the validation from not just your friends or whatever, but like people who don't have to tell you that. It's just something they're telling you because they mean it.
And Philly has some hilarious dudes, well-known dudes, obviously, but they've got a good
Oh yeah.
underground scene as well. The big Jay Okersons of the world, obviously. Shane Gillis is a guy who's
Yeah.
really blown up over the last few years. Is that somebody that you performed with in Philly over time?
Yeah, yeah, Shane. I would say we'd probably be on the same shows, maybe like once a week, going to open mics and stuff like that. But yeah, I know Shane really well. Big J, I know somewhat. We did a show in Buffalo, New York, maybe like a year and a half ago, and I think I posted a video of that where there was just like drunken blue collar people showed up. They were just drunk and out of their minds. Like all of them smelled like 8 packs of cigarettes, and they just started like heckling, and like my entire set was basically just destroying the hecklers in Buffalo. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God,
They yeah, they almost
what a
had a little bit of a mini riot against me when I made a Super Bowl joke.
oh my God. What did you bash on Scott Norwood or something?
No, the joke was well, I'll probably be well, I grew up in Texas for a little bit and I left when I was maybe 12 years old.
Okay, we're in
So
Texas.
Houston area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have like a perspective where I have tons of family who are in Texas and never left and never will leave. So once you leave a certain place, I think it's cool to like come back and you see all the crazy stuff that you didn't think was crazy until you left. So the bit was talking about the Alamo, and I was like, why are they celebrating these 300 idiots who could have just left? You know, and those joke was like, I can't remember how many soldiers are coming. Let's say it's like 5,000 of the Mexican army was showing up. There's like 300 of you. You're like, you're not the 300 Spartans. You're just 300 rednecks who have the opportunity to leave. I was like, if 5,000 of anything shows up, I'm leaving. Like, if they said 5,000 midgets are showing up, I'm still leaving. Yeah. It's like, I'm pretty sure I could kill a lot of midgets, but after 5,000 of them, I'm still leaving. Yeah. So the joke was talking about why are people celebrating the Alamo and they have Remember the Alamo t shirts. And I was saying the Alamo is Texas is 9/11. And
Oh God,
but I was
what a
saying like,
great
yeah, I
line.
was like, yeah, I think the line specifically was why are you wearing Remember the Alamo t-shirts? Everybody died. Like you lost. It wasn't even close. That's like people in Buffalo, New York were wearing Remember the Super Bowl t-shirts. And that's when the entire room blew up.
Did you give that specifically for the Buffalo crowd? Like, is that a joke that you would rework for the city that you're
You
doing
know
it
what? It was a very old joke that I would just do anywhere,
at?
you
Okay.
know, because
Yeah.
there's still common knowledge of Buffalo had lost four Super Bowls in a row for a while. But I think I kind of forgot about the joke and I
Yeah.
hadn't done it in probably 8 years or something like that. And then once I was around these drunken idiots, I was like, I'm going to destroy everyone here. So that's what brought it out of me. Yeah,
That was awesome. So are you going to
yeah.
tell the Alamo joke here in Austin this weekend? You almost have to, right?
I don't know. I might. There's like some other trashing on Texas material that I got, but also it's like Austin's what I'm hearing. I mean, I haven't been to Austin in a couple of years, but it's more they're saying it's a purple city now, or it's more of a blue city than any other city in Texas.
You can actually make that argument for Dallas and Houston now too, but I'd say Austin
Mm,
is probably the bluest. The thing about Austin though is it hasn't like the extremes of whatever side it is that you represent are obviously just complete idiots. And Austin
yeah.
definitely has progressive left-leaning tendencies, but I think there is a craving for independent thought here as well, and also people who are willing to have
Hmm.
conversations. So you have some nutso people on the left, and honestly, you have some nutso people on the right too. When you get to the fringes, the outer limits of the suburbs and whatnot. But Austin is a place where people are happy to come together and share their differences. And I feel like that's honestly a big reason why Austin is starting to become a stand-up mecca here in the country too. I mean, obviously
Hmm.
Joe Rogan and some other
Yeah.
people like that moving here helps out. But like Creek in the Cave, which was in New York for a long time, is here, and they're putting on incredible shows. Rogan's opening a place up. You have another spot on Dirty Six that called Vulcan that has done a great job, and then Cap
Hmm.
City. Um, I am a longtime fan of Cap City Comedy Club. I went to a ton of shows there
Yeah.
at the old place, and it was in a weird part of town, but it was still a great club. What the Helium people have come in and
Yeah.
done and bringing that club back and doing it in the Domain, which is a really cool area, and just like their understanding of how to set up a badass club. I went and saw Jeff Ross there like 3 or 4 weeks ago and was completely blown away. I mean, it's way better than the old space, rest in peace. And you can just tell that there are people who understand what they're doing with regards to making sure to present really good comedy to the people.
Yeah, I've been to the old place. I remember. I think it was next to I almost said a DUI place. It's next to I think it was a driver learning place or something like that. It was like in a little shopping mall strip. Yeah, the
Defensive
old place.
driving
Yeah,
place. There's a pawn shop
yeah,
over
yeah,
there. There's a fucking payroll place, I think. Yeah, it was
yeah,
it was definitely in a
yeah.
dodgy part of town.
But I
So
was a friend who was at the New Helium last week, Blake Wexler. So he told me that the area that the New Helium's at is just like a lot of bars, restaurants, shops, things like that. So he says it's there's more things to do, but it's like 20 minutes outside of the city or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is separated from downtown a little bit. It's almost turning into like its own mini downtown, though. Yeah, you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
And I assume since you used to live in Texas for a long time that you've done the Texas circuit as a comedian, hopefully in the recent past. Have you done the Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio bit?
I've never been in Dallas, which I'm interested in doing. I've done Houston, I've done San Antonio, and I've done Austin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any one of those that you like performing in the best? Loaded question,
Um,
I know, with you coming to Austin.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I used to like Austin was always cool, but like it was just like, after the show, you're just in that strip mall. So it's like you just like I gotta get out of here, you know. But like a lot of the comps are cool. Like they would all take you downtown and go hang out downtown in Austin. So I'll hopefully do that again this weekend. Houston, everything's all spread out in Texas. That's the thing people don't really know about Texas. Like everything's really spread out, So it's like people will actually hang out at their local place. Like here in Philly, like I go downtown, I live in the city, So
Mm-hmm.
like people will travel to the city to go do things. But in Texas, most people just stay in their own little area. They have no really need to try to go downtown as much as other like northeast cities will. Like San Antonio was very cool. I did have some emotional scarring from San Antonio one of the last times I was there.
What's that? The
Yeah.
Alamo?
No, it was once I found out the Alamo wasn't as cool as I thought it was gonna be. But um I did a show, it was New Year's Eve. For some reason, no one showed up to the New Year's Eve show.
Oof.
And so there was like maybe 30 people in the crowd, which I've never ever seen in a New Year's Eve show. They're always sold out. And and I'm like by myself. And so I'm like, this sucks. I'm not gonna hang at the club. So I go back to my hotel room and I'm like, I can't spend my hotel room and New Year's Eve in the room. So I said, okay, let me just walk to the Applebee's across the street. So I walked to Applebee's, and Applebee's is sold out. So the comedy show is not sold out, but Applebee's is sold out, and they tell me I can't get in. So I'm like, like it's a Miami nightclub, like Applebee's is sold out. And so then I had to walk back to my hotel room after getting declined at Applebee's. And I went on Tinder and I convinced some random chick to come by. And her photos, when I saw her walk up in real life, because I could see her walk from the parking lot from my hotel room window, it
Oh.
looked like it looked like she ate the person in the photo. And so then I just started taking shots of vodka, trying to get my spirits up. And she's like, "Why are you taking shots?" I'm like, you want to know why? Have you seen yourself?" That's like, and I just got declined from Applebee's. This is totally the time to take shots. Yeah. Then she started talking about she lost custody of her daughter and that she thinks Beyonce's overrated. I'm just like, what is going on? So then I just pretended that I had diarrhea, that she should leave. Yeah.
The diarrhea bit. It
I just like went to the bathroom. Yeah, I just went to the bathroom. It's like, I don't feel good. You should probably go. Just like, yeah, it was the saddest night ever.
the
Yeah.
diarrhea excuse to get you out of bad Tinder dates and bad paper jobs too, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
So you just
yeah.
mentioned something that you love about Philly, the fact that everything is right there. You can walk from point A to point B. I lived in Chicago for a little while. It's one of the things I loved about that city too, like the neighborhood feel of it. Not that there's not plenty to love about Austin as well. What's something about Philly that you're not crazy about as somebody who's lived there for a while now?
The children, the children. I hate all the kids. I don't care about any of the children. I just wish we could deport them to somewhere else. There's also ATV and motorcycles who are constantly in the streets, and they run every red light. They take up traffic. Sometimes they'll be like as much as like, 200, 250 of them, in a procession, just like doing whatever they want.
Wow.
It's constant. Yeah, it's everywhere in the city. Yeah, just guys on four wheelers. They're all like doing the popping wheelies and like they're on a rodeo and stuff like that. You know, so that's probably my second biggest pet peeve besides the children in Philadelphia.
So
Yeah.
much, so much like me at the rodeo, where I'm rooting for the animals and for the I'm rooting for the animals and for the humans to fail. Are you rooting for these jackasses who are doing wheelies on the four wheelers to fall into the street?
I have a I've always wanted to see it, I'm hoping to see it eventually, but also like an evil part of me is hoping there's just one psychopath who had a bad day, like he just got fired, like he found out his girlfriend's cheating on him, like his dog's at the vet, and he just sees these assholes and they just keep running red light after red light, and he's like late to be somewhere, and he just guns his Prius and just rolls over as many of these as possibly can. Like, I'll fantasize about that and start laughing to myself. And I was like, yeah, it's a good psychopath fantasy. Yeah, I was like, just thinking that I wish I could see that just made me smile, even though it would be horrible to see someone get hit by any vehicle. But I was like, yeah, I'm just praying for one psychopath one day to do the right thing.
I think there's something special about a Prius running into a four wheeler too. Because let's be
Oh,
honest, we
yeah.
don't know who's actually going to win that battle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, that's the humanity side that I have. I didn't say bus. Yeah. It means I'm a good person.
Oh man, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for the time today. He is David James. He's going to be at Cap City Comedy Club this Friday through Sunday, performing in the Red Room. You can go to capcitycomedy.com for tickets. David, really appreciate the time, man. Best of luck with things and have fun this weekend.
Thank you, buddy. Come by the show. We'll work on your Indeed profile. Try to get you some new shit.
I need the help. Thanks, David.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks to Gentleman Jesus for the intro and outro music. Hear more of his work at gentlemanjesus.com. Thanks to Joshua Bates for the video editing. If you have any video editing needs, hit him up on Instagram at Forger Digital. And thanks as always to you for checking us out. You can watch, listen, learn, and connect for free at booksonpod.com. For Books on Pod, I'm Trey Elling. Good day.